Fortnite running at a stable 120 frames per second, but on a tablet, that's better performance than many laptops on the market. This is the most powerful tablet in the world right now, and not only that, it's ridiculously cheap. And it's not just powerful, it also has premium finishes, dual USB ports, HDMI output, a high-quality display, and a Snapdragon 8 Elite with maximum performance. The tablet is the Lenovo Legion Y700 Gen 4. It has a price of $390, but I'll leave you a coupon to bring it down to $355. You're not going to find anything better than this. A cheaper but very similar alternative would be the Lenovo Y700 Gen 3, which would cost you $235 using coupons and cashback. The main difference is the processor. One has the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 4 and the other has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is still powerful but not like the Snapdragon 8 Elite. I'll leave links and coupons in the description. Come with me to watch the full review. This tablet is going to make you fall in love. We start with the unboxing. In this box, you get your Lenovo. It has a simple design. You wouldn't think there's a wild beast inside. We open it, and here's the tablet. Underneath, we have a section with manuals, the tool to remove the micro SD tray, a USB-C cable, and on the other side, we have a 6.8-watt fast charger. Here we have the beast. It looks more like a premium product than a gaming product. Aluminum finish all around the tablet, very thin thickness, similar to a smartphone. It weighs just over 300 grams, and in the hand, it feels like very high quality. It has one speaker on each side. On the top, we have the power button, volume buttons, and the micro SD tray to expand storage. On the right side, we have a USB port, and on the bottom, we have a second USB port. Both are for charging the tablet or connecting accessories, but only the bottom one works as HDMI output. Lastly, on the back is the camera. Holding this tablet is very easy since it has an 8 in 8-inch size. If you hold it vertically like a phone, it's very easy to type and use comfortably. Here I have a 10.3-inch Lenovo, so you can see the size difference. And now, taking advantage of that, let's start with the display. It's 8.8 inches, 3K resolution, 3040 x 1904 165 Hz refresh rate, and 600 nits of max brightness. The panel is IPS and has Gorilla Glass protection against simple scratches and a low blue light certification to protect your eyes. Even though it's not OLED, the quality is spectacular. There's no light bleeding anywhere, the color reproduction is really good, you can play 4K content, and trust me, you'll be very happy. Obviously, you can also enjoy your Korean dramas at excellent quality. It feels premium, and even outdoors, the brightness is pretty decent. And another thing is the screen smoothness. With 165 Hz, you'll feel super smooth motion. Complementing the display, we have the audio, which is dual speaker stereo sound with Dolby Atmos. The surround sound in movies is delicious. It's a full, clear, and loud sound. The operating system it runs is Android 15 and it's the Chinese version, but there's no problem at all. You can change the language, and the Chinese apps that aren't useful you can simply disable, and that's it, you're left with a normal tablet with Play Store and Google services. The system comes relatively clean, but it has some interesting features like PC mode, which activates a windowed interface as if you were using Windows, so you can have multiple windows open whether you're doing homework or some office work. Also, if you remember, I told you that one of the USB ports works as an HDMI output. You just need one of those cables that has USB on one end and HDMI on the other, or this one that has multiple ports and HDMI. I like this one more since you can connect extra accessories. I'll leave the link in the description for both adapters. By connecting your tablet to an external display, you'll be able to get more out of it, since you can mirror the image on a bigger screen or also enable extended desktop mode, which would allow you to use dual monitors, great for working, doing homework, or even gaming while watching videos. And the power this tablet has is more than enough, so you can have multiple windows open. The possibilities are endless. It's like having a computer. Also remember that you have dual USB ports. On the other port you can charge your tablet, but best of all, it has the pass-through function, which allows using external power as the power source, protecting the battery and significantly reducing the heat generated. Similar to when on a laptop you remove the battery and leave it plugged into power. This really is cinema. You can put your tablet on the big TV, plug it into power, connect a Bluetooth controller, and that's it. Enjoy playing for a few hours straight without damaging the battery. Speaking of the battery, we have a 7600 mAh battery. It has normal endurance, similar to what your phone's battery lasts, but you get 6 8-watt fast charging that easily takes it from 0 to 100% in 40 to 50 minutes. And something curious is that you can change the charging animation to give it more of your own style. As for the cameras, it has a 50MP rear camera and an 8MP front camera. I think on a tablet, cameras don't matter to anyone beyond video calls or face unlock, and these do the job very well. In fact, the 50MP one does more than well. It can even record 4K video at 30 frames per second, and face unlock works well. For connectivity, you have Bluetooth 5.4, Wi-Fi 7, and GPS. Everything works perfectly. And now we get to the most anticipated part of the whole video: performance. It has a 4th generation Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. Mine is the 12GB RAM version, and it scored 3,197,000 points on the AnTuTu benchmark, the most powerful I've tested so far. It's more than obvious that it destroys everyday apps, but let's go to the gaming performance tests, starting with the lightest ones. When you open games, you get a gamer tool that will help you with many things, adding a virtual crosshair for shooter games, a button mapper in case you connect a controller. Look at everything you can do here. The most important feature is the one that lets you change performance modes. There are 3: power saving mode limited to 40%, balanced mode limited to 60%, and performance mode that unleashes the beast. Destiny Rising, set to maximum graphics and medium performance profile, runs at a stable 60 frames per second even in the most action-packed moments. It can't go higher because the game doesn't allow it. Red Dead Redemption is capped at 40 frames per second. With the medium performance profile, you get stable 40 frames without issues. By this point, you can already tell the tablet destroys games. We haven't even unleashed the beast yet. But wait, there's more. Genshin Impact on maximum graphics with the medium performance profile also runs locked at 60 frames. From here on, we unleash the beast with the maximum performance profile. In Offroad League Online, you can set maximum graphics at a very stable 120 frames, but in a few scenes where there are many players, it drops to around 90. Fortnite, honestly, I thought this one would be hard to max out, but it wasn't. With epic graphics, which is the highest quality it allows, it ran at a very stable 120 frames. Occasionally, it dipped to 115, but very rarely. I expected worse performance, but nope. Way of the Hunter is a real challenge. Keep in mind this is an open world game with a map full of vegetation. It's extremely demanding. It has 4 graphics levels and supports 120 frames. On the maximum graphics setting, it averages between 30 and 50 frames. If you want more frames, you need to drop to high graphics. It still looks great, and you get between 70 and 80 frames. In open areas without much vegetation, you can sometimes hit 120, but in the middle of the forest, it's almost impossible. If you want to reach 120 frames for sure, you'll have to lower the graphics a lot. You probably wouldn't think Minecraft is heavy, but it actually is. Minecraft has dynamic lighting, shadows, and reflections, which makes it more demanding. If you set everything to max and 12 chunks of render distance, it looks beautiful, but doesn't go past 35 frames per second. That said, the quality of the water reflections is really nice. It would be amazing to play like this at least 60 frames, but that's a challenge even for powerful computers. If you want 60 frames, you need to lower the effects a bit so it stays stable. And if you want 120 frames, you definitely have to switch to performance graphics, which lowers effects and render distance to 6 chunks. So yeah, Minecraft with reflections, shadows, and dynamic lighting is a very heavy game. I did other technical performance tests in different demanding graphical environments. I thought it would perform worse, but honestly, the performance surprised me a lot. In a 3D platformer, it always ran at 60 frames with the medium performance profile. In a kart racer, it also ran at 60 frames with the medium performance profile. An adventure and fantasy game ran at 30 frames without any issues. And lastly, in an open world gangster game, this one ran between 40 and 60 frames quite steadily. As you can see, it has more than enough power to handle very demanding graphics and heavy workloads. Temperatures when playing on the medium profile are around 40 degrees. If you switch to the performance profile and play for a long period, you can reach 50 degrees, but since it has an aluminum body, the heat dissipation is very good. If you're going to grind for 2 or 3 hours straight, ideally, you should plug in the charger to use external power instead of the battery. This significantly reduces heat, and on top of that, you can use a cooler to help keep your tablet cool. Now, imagine connecting your tablet to the TV. Plug plugging in your controller, and that's it. Ready to enjoy a long gaming session. This is definitely a hyper-powerful tablet. Let me know in the comments what you think about this tablet. I'll leave this video here. Over and out.